Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatham, to the overall elect, whom this truth is for, and we ought to believe that by faith, is as written, that it is impossible to please the Father without it. And so now we begin. This is from, as well as you already know, brothers be going on this news page over here, and this guy, he's just bringing it out. So let's get into it, man. Bill Gates insider admits data centers built to kill and replace 200 million Americans by 2030. A data center insider has come forward with horrifying revelations about the AI mega facilities rising across the country. And these aren't harmless tech campuses powering the internet. They are command centers for a globalist system of surveillance and control beyond anything humanity has ever seen. And thanks be to for them, I would say, thanks be to the World Trade Center happening, because that paved the way for these devils to create a world of surveillance. All right. And the surveillance world they wanna create is gonna go against the Posse Comitatus Act, because we know that in the time to come, in that time, there's gonna be martial law being declared and everything else, and that's going to force people towards this digitized, technologicalized world, and everybody's going to have to get in line, and the way that you get in line is by you taking heed mandatorily to receiving that chip. Okay, we've been saying it plenty of times over and over and over again. The king just announced, so-called, that look, the digital ID thing is going to be the thing. So once the king announces it, so-called, then you already know it's about to be on and popping. All right. And as well as it's written in the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter, it speaks on how Britain, matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read it, and we're going to go into it. Revelations 13 and verse 5. You know what I could do? Let's go up even further. Exactly. Here we have it. The beast from the sea. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his horns 10 crowns, and the 10 just represents the original European common markets. It just represents the original common markets, which was known as the, EWC. I don't really remember the acronym to be exact, but this is referring to, let's just say, the European Union, and you had the original 10, which formulated that, and they packed themselves they not packed themselves, but they coined themselves the Treaty of Rome, which they're right about that, because this system is the revival version of it. And so as it reads, and upon his head the name of blasphemy, and the beast which I saw was likened unto a leopard. And why was this? Because this was the first kingdom of Edom, the Greeks. You had Alexander the Great, and you had the 12 which came thereafter that ruled Greece. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, right? And the feet as the feet of the bear. Now, that's the end of every creature, is his feet. And who shows themselves to be the bear based on the animal symbol that they use, the Russians do. All right. And what's going to be the case is that the Russians are going to be bringing this system down to the ground. All right. It's going to take the Russians. It's going to bring America down to nothing. All right. They're gonna do just that. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and a great authority. And again, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion is referencing to Britain, because when Britain speaks, the whole world gotta go with the flow. And the lion, like when you check out the when you check out the what you would call it, when you go into the Dark Ages, right, there was a lot of lion emblems that were left, which goes all the way back to the descendants of Judah, because the descendants of Judah ruled in England. And if I'm correct, I believe the southern part of England was primarily Judah. And then when you go up north, that was like Benjamin, something along those lines. And then even onto Ireland as well, you had Benjamites that were there too. All right. So overall, you could consider that the kingdom of Judah. The kingdom of Judah was in the not in the east. I was about to say the east. They were pretty much central in Europe, ruling at the time as kings and stuff and princesses in the Dark Ages. And there was so many of them bad boys, man. It was crazy, And yes, there were wars and what have you, in the times that were, and so there you have it. But the whole lion thing goes back to Judah. That's why when you go to Trafalgar Square, you'll see those black lions sitting on the as what it appears to be these. The best words to describe are these blocks or these sepulchres, So again, that's where that line goes back to. Judah, because Judah was ruling here. But the point is that when England speaks, the world has to obey, because America may be the influence of the world. It may appear to be the most richest country as well, but the UK is the final district of the world, and I would consider it to be the most richest country in this case. Not like it was before, but Britain has a level of power behind it because of the so-called monarchy. All right. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So there you go. So the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So what is the dragon referring to? Again, the beast, which is Rome. Okay, because they're ruling they're ruling on the they're ruling under the ways of how the ancient Romans ruled. Right. So that's that right there. So let's look up this word here, dystopia. It just means just that, a bad place. I was going into this when I was out doing a live that I did. That's all it means. The word this means bad or abnormal, and the word topos just means place, bad place. And that's all Esau could very well do, because he's simply just that, the wicked. Right? Proverbs 29 and verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And so this is the reason why Yahweh Shai is the go-to to pray to and beg to for the sake of our salvation from these wicked people. Because if it wasn't for Yahweh Shai's coming back, then we would all be destroyed. We would all be done for. And basically you can close the book, but the books are going to stay open. Yahweh Shai, he opened up the books, so the books are going to stay open, and therefore the book is going to fall into fruition. And in the book, it tells us very well that the righteous are going to overcome the wicked, and that the wicked are going to fall under the same troubles that the righteous fell under, and many more things. All right, that which is good unto us. So, yeah, that's why we need Yahweh Shah to come back, man. And as this reads too, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. And he's done all of that physically, but now what he wants is your mentality. He wants to rule over your mentality, and that way he can do that by you getting that chip, so to speak, And that way, once you're biologically connected to your government, he has power over you. He can remotely control you if necessary. I remember there was this old video that was aired out years ago, man. I mean, they done took it off of YouTube already. Like, this was the time when YouTube, you could put up any old kind of video you wanted to put up. Like, YouTube was like equivalent to Rumble right now. There was this video, and I think the video was based in the 60s or something like that. It could have been based in the early 1960s. And they had this technology, and they demonstrated on this cow. And they had I think it was a brain chip on the cow, and they was able to literally remotely control the cow. The ox, I believe it was. It was an oxen. They was able to control the ox. Like a video game. So that's the next level, you know. Remember, Esau does everything based on gradualism, you know. But it can get to that point where these devils will be able to literally control you on a biological level, man. All right. And there's an article on that, too, that I just read. And I'm going to bring that out right now. See, this is it right here. See, check this out. Bombshell files reveal global elites develop power to remotely control human cells. So if they can do that, then they can remotely control you. So I mean, like, once they got one thing out the way, which is to chip you, then this is the next thing that they're gonna be able to do. Because at the end of the day, what does Esau really want? He wants to be a god, man. He wants to be a power. But this ain't gonna go too far. Once they administer that mark and enough people take it, this place is going to go belly up in the flames. This place ain't got long. Remember Yahweh Shai, as well as it was written, I believe it was him that said it, that if the days don't be shortened, that no flesh will be saved. Let's read that real quick, just in case if I'm wrong, right? No flesh to be saved. See, you gotta be exact with this blue letter. Flesh to be saved. Come on, man. Stop. You know, let me just do this. I'm gonna have to go about it the long way. No. Let's take it from right. Yeah, let's take it from here. Right. And except, this is Matthew 24, verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. Let's see something real quick. Yeah, Yahushua did say this. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So for the elect's sake, the days are going to go quick. Once this ship is administered, so to speak, things are going to go real quick. Because there ain't going to be no need for this society to go on. That's it. That's the last prophecy that came in. So once that prophecy comes in, there ain't no over beyond the limit of one's rulership. And I'm talking about Esau's rulership here. Of course, Job 14. And let's pull this out real quick. Job 14 and verse 5, right? Seeing his days are determined and the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So that's going to be the last part of him. Once he administers this mark, that's it for Esau. Esau ain't gonna go for another 30 years after that. He's going down in probably in a matter of weeks or maybe months. But it's going to be pretty daggone soon. Let's just put it that way, shall we? So yeah, the Lord is gonna have to shorten the days, because if this man does continue to rule for another 30 years, guess what? Everything that has life in it will be dead. And it'll just be a gray, dark, dreary world where no life exists. All right? That's just the so-called white man for you. He's basically the epitome of death itself. Everything that he does is death associated because he is the man of sin, which brings just that. All right? He's the epitome of when you break the laws of the Most High. When you sin, at the end of what is death. And as well as it's written, he's as death that cannot be satisfied. So this guy gotta be stopped. Otherwise, life is gonna be brought to a halt. And Yahweh Shai ain't gonna allow that. Okay, because it's written that the Lord is gonna make all things new, and we're all gonna live accordingly to the way it's written that we're gonna live, and we're gonna experience life, and we're gonna rejoice and all of that stuff. So how are these prophecies gonna come to pass if this man done killed every single thing in sight, including us? Come on, man. So this man got to be stopped, and he will be stopped. Oh, absolutely. And that's all I got to say with this, man. Giving all of the praises once again and the glory to Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Gradash, and double honor to the elder apostles as well, and to include the other bishops on down. And Yahweh Bahashem Shai, Barakatham, to all of the brothers, especially in Great Millstone, that's pushing this truth sincerely and in diligence. Shalom.